Hello guys, it's Von here. I'm just making a quick video just highlighting something I've just finished doing. It's basically a set of triggers that I'm using on a new map, a new mission that I'm making. This map is Salt Lake. And it's basically just a simple set of triggers that are telling this Chinook, who I'm not piloting by the way, I'm just a co-pilot, to come down and to pick up a vehicle ammo box which can obviously contain whatever you want. So in this case it's going to have extra ammunition and bits and bobs in it that will be used. This map I'm making is kind of like the first mission is going to be to establish a checkpoint, and then you're going to be attacked while manning the checkpoint. And this is a script that's done on radio triggers, so this one can only be executed once obviously because he's bringing me something. And when activated, he takes off from the airbase there, or the little airway, and he flies over, picks up the crate as you just saw, and then he heads over to where the checkpoint is, which is just over there. You won't see these triggers, these items on the map as normal. It's just because I'm one of the co-pilots. It's a relatively easy process to do. I'm relatively new to making missions on Arma, and it's not something that I tend to find is often shown. There are a few videos, but they're a bit outdated. Now I've got Eden Editor, I thought I'd make some videos. So what he does, he's now dropped it off, and then he's now on his return journey. So that crate's now there for the guys at the checkpoint to use, and then he will fly back and land. It's a really good idea. Adds to the immersion of like a Milsim unit, which I'm a part of. Just little things like this just add those little unique touches to the game. So all in all, the amount of time it takes to do this literally takes just a few minutes. There's not really like a set land command. If you tell them to land, then what they'll do is they'll land, and then as soon as their wheels touch the floor, they go back up in the air. So I've got a little workaround for that, a fail-safe that guarantees it to work as it has now. He's sat down on the ground, and as you can tell there, his rotors are starting. Right, so here we are back in the editor. Like I was saying, all we've got is 4 waypoints and 1 trigger. And the way this is done, I'll just quickly grab another vehicle. So you've got your helicopter. What you want to do is place the trigger down. The trigger, all you need to do is change the activation. I use the radio, so we'll just have radio delta, and that is it. That's all you need to do. But what you need to do is to stop the helicopter jumping straight into the triggers. You have to make them do something before, so they just stay on the ground. And the best way I've found to do this is using the waypoint. Make sure we click on him first. Is the loiter works quite well. You can just make him loiter exactly on the spot. And then what we want to do is, like I said, just let him stay there until we want him to move, till we want him to activate the script. Well, the trigger, should I say, really. So what we do is we connect the loiter, right click, connect, set waypoint activation to the trigger. So he will stay at that stage until I activate the trigger, and then once I activate the trigger, he will then carry on with the rest of his tasking. So that's what I've got over here. I've got the loiter there, so when you spawn in, they don't do anything, and that's set to the trigger over here. So I've got it set to Radio India. So it's at the bottom of the list, because I'll have other triggers for different things. Because I've got this that when we're at the checkpoint, you'll just be there. The idea behind it is just to check any vehicles, just to make sure that everything's hunky-dory, and then you'll get enemy forces patrolling towards you, and I can set those enemy forces off on their path towards us by using triggers as well. So we can have like waves of enemies coming towards you, which is going to be quite fun when I finish it. So yeah, going back to the point. So it goes to the loiter and then to the trigger. So once the trigger is activated, he will stop loitering and carrying on with the rest. So just to make the sequence follow on, just click back on loiter, find your next one, guard or whatever, and as you see they will add on. So let's get rid of all of that, we don't need that. So loiter will then move to lift the cargo. The cargo is over here, which is not too far away. Then we'll come over and pick up just a vehicle ammo box, which, like I said, will have whatever I decide to go in it once I get into that part of the mission, but for now it's just empty. And then once he's got that, he will then drop the cargo over here. You could even put another, like a move, and then to drop the cargo. It may make him come in a bit quicker, I'm not too sure, it's worth a try. But it's fine, it works, and it's perfect for what we need. And then once you drop the cargo, as you saw, he comes straight back to number 3. So this is where the land command, when you touch the wheels on the ground, he normally just jumps straight back up in the air. So I've kind of put in like a fail-safe which guarantees him to come down every time. And in this one, on activation, I've just got H1 land pad 1. So that's telling the helicopter, which I've named H1, to land at this location, which is pad 1. And all I've done is put down an invisible helipad, named it pad 1. And as you can see, the Chinook is named H1. And I've put that in that, so on activation he will know that's what he's got to do. And I've also linked it fourth to a fourth one, land, and again I've put it in there just as a backup, and it works every time. I've not had any problems with it. He does land facing the way you saw, but that's not a problem. And that's what I've got. I'm going to have a few more of these just to make the map that a bit more enjoyable. If this has helped, then I hope it has. I'm glad that it's been of use to you, and if you didn't know how this was done, or you didn't even think about doing this, and this is kind of giving you a bit of inspiration, then I'm glad it's helped you. And I've been Von Tickle, and thanks for watching.